The name of our grant was Take a Stand, Lend a Hand, and Stand Up to Bullying. Our bully campaign was made possible through the Wilks grant, and it involved many different pieces that all wove together to make it just a great year and event for everybody. As teachers, we're in a unique position to help children resolve bullying type situations and to help them see the importance and the consequences of their actions. And it's important that they know bullying is not just a one-time event. Bullying is when it's a repetitive action by another student. We're trying to make students more aware of what bullying is and isn't and how they can act. Part of this involved a great bully pledge day, and part of the pledge that day was actually written with Ned in mind. On that day, students came in, they watched a video from Ned called The Upstander. We introduced the bully box, which Mr. Riegler made for us. That's Lori Noga's dad. And he made us, and kids can anonymously report any bullying situation in the box. And it also involved the bullying and harassment cards that give the student a situation and then some discussion questions. We do these bullying and harassment cards on Good Morning Highland, our morning announcement show. Also that day, the students recited the pledge, got the pledge card, the bracelet, and signed the poster that hangs in our entryway. And all of that, of course, was to pledge to make Highland a bully-free zone. And our Ned pledge is,
never give up, encourage others, and do your best.
And always be an
upstander.
My grant was called iKids, I Learn, iPads. The purpose of my grant was to let my small group of kids be able to experience the new technologies that they may not normally have at home. I'm a Title I teacher, so typically my kids do not have all the advantages. So I was so happy to see that we were awarded a grant that would allow them opportunities for these kinds of technology learnings. Well, one huge improvement is that they want to come and they want to get a hold of this technology. They want to read from them. Research is telling us that the eyes and the ears and the mouths and touching all work together to make learning a better experience for all children. So we're trying to reach these children through that way. So just wanting to come to the camp is one of the most exciting things you could hope for. The camp is set up as a campground. There's a tent. When you walk in, it's like walking into a tent. There's a campfire. We sit around the campfire. Sometimes we sing songs with our poems for rhyming. Some of the apps that we use have to deal with sight words. The neat thing about those is I can use sight words already on the app, or I can also create my own. With the campers loving to work on the iPad, that gives me a chance to differentiate. Some of them can be on the iPad. I can work with a single student who's having trouble with a particular skill, whether it be a blend or a digraph sound, and the others are still getting advantage of some kind of learning with me working with someone else. It's very wonderful for that differentiation and for any kind of leveling that you may need to do for skills. I can use them year after year after year. It's not disposable, and the technology and all the apps that go with that are totally amazing, and they're just more and more than I could ever possibly use.
Read all about it.
I am a recipient of the grant this year for my journalism class. We have received newspapers from the Journal News and Cincinnati Enquirer every day for the last few months, and the students have been studying the papers and doing various activities with the papers.
I found the newspapers really interesting because what we do is we get class time to read about current events, and it lets us know about current events going on around the world and just the country, and we get to talk about them and discuss and know how to find the good qualities of a good article.
The foundation also gave us an opportunity to go on a field trip to the PTC for Dayton Daily News, which is the printing center where they make the newspapers.
We're going on a field trip to the print center for the Dayton Daily News, and we're going to just be able to learn about all the different things that go on in a printing center for a newspaper that's largely used.
The guest speaker from the Dayton Daily News He works at the Journal News, and he is coming to talk to our classes. He is a very accomplished editor that the kids would not otherwise have access to.
What I want to talk about with you guys, first off, is I've looked at all your awesome newspapers. I was going to mention I like a lot of things about the newspaper that you guys have done so far, and the comics are one of them. I think that's really an interesting piece of your newspaper. You guys seem to have all the elements to make a great newspaper. Paying attention to what your audience would be interested in, and that's great. You guys are doing a good job coming up with story ideas.
We've compared different newspapers to see like what grabs the attention the most, and we've also analyzed the writing, and it helped us become better writers ourselves. We talked about the rule of thirds, which is like that if you like split it into 9 like squares, equal squares, that on every intersection there's something important, and like we just saw if it like followed the rule and if it didn't follow the rule.
So we're really appreciative for everything the grant has given us, and we thank the Hamilton Community Foundation.
So we wrote a grant to purchase Orton Gillingham materials and train our parents to be able to practice with their children at home. We saw this great transfer between what was happening in the ELAs and in the resource rooms and carry over to the classroom. We wanted to see if we could increase that by having the home be a part of that.
One of the things that we did is we created an individual kit for each family to have at home. And they had the letter sound cards that we made, and then they also had the screens that we use for tracing purposes. Everything is multisensory, and we have our little hand that we use when we do our tap it out, when we're doing CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonant. They tap them out when they're writing them, and then we included crayons as well. And we also purchased Sound It CDs. And these CDs were very helpful to parents, especially for those parents who weren't exactly sure what sound that we were making. Phonics has changed a lot over the years. When I was in school, everything was b, k, d, and now that we've realized that those really aren't the sounds, this gives our parents a model that they can emulate, plus it gives the kids the resources to hear it at home as well.
And I think for me the most exciting part was when we would pull out the cards and they'd be like, we've got those at home, we did those. And having the parents have more confidence on how to help their child and realizing that there are words that we want you to sound out and there are words we don't want you to sound out.
I think it was a wonderful opportunity to get some of these materials that would be otherwise too expensive for parents to purchase on their own.
Both of us are Title I teachers, and we chose to target those parents specifically and also the tutors in the entire building to make sure that we were getting the resources out to the students and the families who needed them the most. And we would not have been able to do that without the grant, so thank you very much.
Like-minded individuals in the Hamilton City School District, Cheryl Burke, Robert Burke, and myself, along with several others, got together and decided to address a glaring need in our district and our community, and that is to help at-risk male student athletes. The lab was kind of developed and formed. The lab stands for Leaders Academy at Blue.
We decided that a retreat at Camp Campbell Garden, an overnight retreat there, would be a huge deal to these kids. The number one thing that we wanted to accomplish was to bond together and become almost like a family unit that they can trust each other throughout high school and kind of be there for each other throughout their high school career.
The Camp Campbell Garden experience was really fun for me because we got to bond with more of our friends and became more of a family than just friends.
I learned that if I ever needed to talk to somebody, I will talk to somebody in a lab, or I will talk to one of my principal, Mr. Watkins, or Coach Burke.
It was really awesome. It was a really good team bonding, really good family bonding.
The high ropes was a good experience. It was scary overall because I couldn't make it all the way through the obstacle course. It was very, very scary. The ropes just had me, it was wobbling, and then the wind was blowing at that, so it didn't really help.
I don't like heights at all. I'm scared of heights, but that wasn't going to stop me from doing this. I made a goal for myself, and I was not going to quit. I'd rather do it and then talk about how great it was than just regret it and not do it.
Leaders Academy at Blue would like to thank the Hamilton Community Foundation and the Harry T. Wilks Awards for letting us fulfill our Camp Campbell Guard retreat, and we look forward to continued success and partnership.
It was very surprising that some of the stories we heard, like I never knew that some people would have to go through all that stuff that they did, and it just made me feel like happy for the kind of life that I had.
When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. You can go through the worst things in life and you can be successful no matter what.
You feel like you made some new friends.
Right. Made new family members, actually.
Say, thanks for the gel boards. Thanks for the gel boards. Thank you, Hamilton Community Foundation.